Marion Roberts was historically South Africa's largest engineering, contracting and construction services company. It made a loss in 2011 related mostly to project write-downs and now has a market cap of only 9.7 billion. It completed a substantial rights issue earlier this year and currently pays no dividends. Your thoughts on Marion Roberts right now, Paul?
Yes, look, I mean, they were flying high. They got all of the best work. The Gautrain, the Bombela consortium was a very big and, high-profile prestige project for Marion Roberts to win. They had a number of activities out in Dubai and in the United Arab Emirates also were looking good. So I think they developed a certain hubris and overconfidence. CEO Brian Bruce, you couldn't tell him anything about anything. Now, unfortunately, the tide turned. So they had recognized revenue from the Gautrain project in advance of the closure of the project. Now they're fighting with the authorities around whose fault it was that the project ran late and that they incurred all that extra expenditure to get it ready for the World Cup. That doesn't look good. And as a result, they've taken massive write-downs. The management team was then replaced, CEO and financial director gone. The rights issue, deeply discounted at around 18 Rand with the share price trading at 28. Now they're in that sort of nether world where the results have been bad.
Yeah.
The shares in issue are now more because of the rights issue. The balance sheet looks a little bit better. But it's not really clear when they're going to get their mojo back and when they're going to sort of excite people again.
Ian, what do you make of Marion Roberts?
Get their mojo back? Not in the foreseeable future. Okay, that's my view. I think, from a technical point of view, from an engineering functional point of view, they're brilliant. But, you get a crowd of engineers to run this sort of company, and they don't always bear in mind the cost structure, the capital structure, and I think that they moved away from that. It's so much like, just looking at the Gautrain, it's so much like the experience they had with the Carlton Centre decades ago, and they had to put up a plaque which said, or threatened to say, this project donated to Anglo-America. Okay, maybe it wasn't quite, but that's the way it was going, and they were rescued. I don't say they need a rescue then, but they had to have a heck of a big rights issue, and I don't think we're going to see anything positive there for some time. Definitely, I'm sorry, I'm going to stay pretty cold on that.
Right, and it is reflected in the price of the share price right now, all the troubles that they're going through.
Yes, look, and the interesting question then becomes, who should own these shares and when should you buy them? Because what they say when it comes to cyclical shares is that they don't ring a bell at the top and they definitely don't ring a bell at the bottom. In other words, it sounds like it's easy. These are companies that are prone to deep cycles and they last about 7 years, like the pharaohs and the pyramids. Yes, but now, wouldn't you then be able to say, well, buy them just before the darkest hour, then you'll make huge money, and when everything's going good, then you sell them. That's not how it works. Often what happens is that things still look fine for a while, and suddenly there's a precipitous fall. Or things still look bad, and the share prices creep slightly higher, and then suddenly you realize, hey, they're doing well again. So I don't know what is going to happen that's going to allow us to get the confidence back. But I think it's just going to be a slow and quiet kind of turning the corner sort of a thing. And then you'll start to see the margins firm up a little bit and they'll get a couple of good projects and things will start to move along. And I just don't know.
How long will that take?
Well, you just don't know. I mean, I'm optimistic by nature. I think the commodities demand is going to rebound quite nicely. I think we're going to find a global economy recovers, Europe recovers. Before you know where we are, Bernanke will be turning about increasing interest rates in the US again. China will be growing at 10%.
Wow, Paul.
That would be great.
What do you say, Paul for president?
Then Marion Roberts will be trading at 100 Rand a share again. But all of that's going to happen in sort of a couple of months, and you won't even see it coming, and then it'll have happened.
So hot or not, Marion Roberts?
No, now definitely not.
Ian, hot or not?
No, definitely not. I think seeing this wish list, it may be a decade away. I hope not, but that's what I fear.